Andrew McGahan for Severe MMA here in the Las Vegas fight store, standing alongside, I can't even think. You used to have a couple of great one-liners. Undisputed, undefeated, greatest charm, greatest arm.
I know that's
I can't think of my favourite one though. Chael Sonnen, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, yes.
Forgot that bit.
That'll work.
How's
Hello.
things?
Things are great. How are you?
I said to you just beforehand, you held the top spot in Severe MMA history for a while. #1 video on our YouTube page for several years, talking about Conor McGregor. You call him Mystic Mac, but it seems like you predicted a couple of things about Conor McGregor yourself.
Yeah, I don't know a damn thing about any of that, but I had all the records. And when I left, they've been taken over, and I think he's done a really great job. Good for him.
One of the things that you said to me that time in Manchester, you said you felt, I don't want to say honoured, but to be on the same card as him back in Boston so early in his career, you were able to maybe take him aside and give him a couple of words of advice, maybe of what was going to come. Did you ever think it was going to be as crazy as this?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever given him any advice, but yeah, we did. We shared a card together, and no, I didn't know. He exceeded my expectations. Yeah, he exceeded my expectations. The UFC as a whole has. You know, so many people ask me, you know, did you ever think you'd be in this back when I was competing? Did you ever think you'd be in this spot? And the answer was no, because when I became a fan, those opportunities weren't even there. There was no broadcasting stuff like I'm able to participate in now, or you know, even international exposure. It just wasn't there. It was a different world, and you know, back in the 90s, it was just a different world. So no, the company as a whole has come a long way, and they brought him along with it.
Do you think it's, well, I don't want to say it, do you think it's weird, but I doubt at the back of your mind you thought you'd be making a t-shirt about Conor McGregor all those years ago, and it's on sale here in the Las Vegas fight store. But from something like that in itself is crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know if there was a question in there somewhere, but all right.
No, there wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, Irish people, we don't really have anything, didn't really have anything internationally to pin ourselves to until Conor McGregor came along, and now people are making t-shirts. He has t-shirts. He's the biggest sports star in the country.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I don't know if he's your biggest star in it. I don't even know what sports they have in Ireland, and I don't mean that. We have an NFL here, National Football
I think
League.
you'd like hurling.
Yeah, maybe, and we've got, you know, baseball, and we've got some, and I don't know about all those other countries. So I know he's really done a great job. I know America's embraced him, and the whole world has, and you have to be so wildly over, that's the term in the business, over with the fans, to have people board planes and come to another country to watch you, and that's what Conor's done. It's quite incredible.
Enjoying retirement, I assume. This ESPN gig though seems to be going very well for you.
Yeah, I like being retired. I like being active though too. I like being a competitor. So yeah, a little bit of both. You know, you try to stay busy. Try to stay busy and stay involved a little bit.
In this interim, though, in your retirement, you competed in Metamoris. A lot of people are giving them maybe unfair criticism online. I know they've run into troubles recently, but for what they did for the sport of grappling at the start, raised the profile higher than anything. Is it something you'd be interested in doing again, or have you talked about doing it again, either with Metamoris or other promotions?
Yeah, I have a match coming up. I have a match in 2 weeks, a grappling match, and we're using Metamoris rules, even though it's a different event called Your Show, urshow.tv. We wrestle with Michael Bisping, and but as far as grappling goes, I agree with what you said. Metamoris was definitely #1. I would put him above Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi only comes around every couple of years and is an amateur event, and also a great show. But yeah, I'm with you. I thought that Metamoris was really the premier. I think that they still are. And as far as their criticism go, I mean, let them work some kinks out. They've sold out every show they've ever put on. I don't think that criticism's accurate.
A couple of things before I let you go. Just on the general state of mixed martial arts at the minute, it seems with Ken Shamrock and Data 5000 fighting recently, everyone was like, oh, this is brilliant, and then we saw the serious side, Data 5000 going to hospital. Do you think that maybe should have happened, shouldn't have happened, or what's your thought on the older guys coming back?
Yeah, so it was Kimbo fought with Data 5000.
I say Ken.
Yeah, you say Ken.
Kimbo Slice, I'm sorry, he was on the card as well.
So, you know, look, if those guys can get licensed and they go compete, that's fair game, and they are big draws. You know, there was other guys on that card that night, and I don't know who they were. I know the guys you just said, Kimbo and Ken and Dada. You know, so there's a relevance there. They also broke record numbers with that. You know, Scott Coker's doing some stuff that is really intriguing. You know, you talk about a guy that plays the cards he's dealt. He's got a roster. He's got to work within that roster. He has done so many incredible things with that. Even Dana White, who is the ultimate competitor, even Dana steps back and says, you know what, good job. And it's well-deserved to Coker and the guys over there. And so, you know, if you want to insert Ken and Kimbo and Dada onto that, man, God bless them. Let them go out and have their fun.
We saw something different today from the UFC with the announcement of all the events. I know they did it before with their Go Big, but coming from a man who was back in the time when it was like 117, everyone's talking about it, it was big, and then maybe there wasn't one that touched that for quite a while. Do you think the way the UFC are doing it now in terms of releasing everything in advance, getting people hyped and excited for it, this is the perfect model they should take going forward?
Yeah, I think so. You have to put your schedule out, and to put out one card, you know, only be one ahead, that's not the way to do it. You put out your entire calendar. In fact, you should put out a calendar. Put out a calendar that people can hang up, remind them, let them know when these fights are. The one thing we found with the UFC is people watch when they know there's a fight going on. I sold more tickets, more t-shirts, more pay-per-views than anybody. People always ask me, how'd you do this? All I did is I let people know when I was fighting. I would always tell them the date. I would always tell them the venue. I would always tell them the pay-per-view start time. I would always tell them when tickets were available, and I would hammer that home, and so many guys miss that mark. So the UFC, even as a brand, I think it's really smart. Let those dates go. Let us all plan our year, because it's more than just sitting down at a TV and pushing a buy button. If we want to go to an event, we got to plan for that. If you want to take a vacation, you've got to plan for that. So if you've got a calendar that's out 12 months, tell people. And tell them, fill those fight cards in as best you can, give people information. And so many times companies like to preserve information. There's also a value in that, but in this case, this is the right way to do it. Let them know.
Two final things. With UFC 200 again announced today, surely it's the sort of thing, you're seeing all these stars that are going to be on it. There must be a bit inside you that misses that, to be the guy who can contribute again to the biggest numbers, the guy who brought them in before. Maybe now he's missing out on the chance to bring them in again.
Oh yeah, I think about that stuff a lot. You know, there's I have so many great memories from this sport, but there's also regret. You never get done with it. You get jealous or you get envious. You get all these things that help to drive you, help to motivate you, the competitive side. And yeah, I do sit back sometimes and think, well, here's what I would do. Here's how I would handle this. Or I'll watch a press conference and go, here's how I would handle it.
How would you have handled yesterday's press conference?
I liked yesterday's. I mean, it was a different style than mine. It was a different style. Both of those guys have a different style than mine. The girls shouldn't have even been there. That was a complete miss. They missed a huge opportunity. They tried to. I won't even get into that. They really did a terrible job. The guys did a very good job. I thought it was entertaining. I thought that it was fun. I would have done it different. I've got a different approach. I would have had some more fun with it, but I guess we'll never know.
From that, then finally tomorrow night, UFC 196, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. Is this going to be the fight that we see Conor McGregor stopped, or is he going to continue his dominance in the UFC?
Oh,
put your analyst hat on for a second.
Win the fight? Here's the thing with Conor is he's a sprinter. He reminds me of a guy I used to have to deal with named Vitor Belfort, where he's going to come out of that gate so hard, and he can overwhelm anybody. World champions, he can overwhelm them. It's too much. If you can slow him down and if you can make it a little bit longer, your chances pick up. Now, here's the problem with that statement. I don't actually know that to be true with Conor. I've never seen Conor fade in rounds 3 and 4 and 5 because we've only seen him in round 3 once. We've never seen him in round 4. We've never seen him in round 5. So you look at historically and you go, well, most guys that come out that hard fade. That doesn't mean he will. Floyd Mayweather comes out hard. He never fades. There are very rare athletes that can go hard the whole time. Jordan Burroughs can go hard the whole time. So we'll see what happens. I guess the point I'm trying to make is Nate Diaz picks a pace. It's a pretty high pace, but it's not a sprint, and he maintains it the whole time. That's very hard to deal with. So can Conor keep up? He's not going to knock Nate out. At least that's not likely to happen. Nate's never been knocked out. I don't think any of us believe Conor's going to submit him. So how's he beat him? Well, he go to a decision. So if you're telling me we're likely to get 20 to 25 minutes, I think that's a selling point. I want to see what happens out there.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
See you soon.
Cool.